So, Alex, let me ask you, do you think yesterday raid of Mar-a-Lago is an act of desperation? It certainly feels that way, that the Great Reset crowd, the Davos crew, that they're freaking out that the people are starting to actually restore to some voice. Is there do you feel that? Do you think all of a sudden that they're acting out of a sense of paranoia and last-minute desperation?
I mean, I totally agree, Charlie. This is 100% desperation when you've got this incredibly popular president who is set to announce he's running again, and you don't know what to do, so you raid him when the federal law says a president can get anything he wants from the National Archives for his presidential library. So this is all a giant red herring to try to disqualify Trump for running in 2024, and I predict it will make Trump run, and it will make Trump win. I think they've jumped the shark on this.
So, Alex, let me ask you, do you think...
Time to call Mom. I want to hear what Charles is going to say, but hold on. Mom's awaiting my call. I had it all queued up. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I like calling Mom during the show because, it's real. Let's see if she answers. It's always a suspenseful. All right, we're going to talk about Alex Jones and Charlie Kirk.
Hello?
You're on the air with Miracle Mom and Michael. Are you there? Did I hang up? Mom? What's going on? Hold on. Why can't I hear you? I heard you. Let's try that again. We are experiencing technical difficulties. That was weird.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I don't know if I pushed a button. It said you were still on. Were you hearing me at all or no?
Well, in the beginning, I heard you for, a few seconds there, and then it shut off.
Somebody's trying to shut us down. Just kidding. Yeah.
Hey, listen, that's no conspiracy. That is going on.
Careful, Mom. Careful. Well,
I know.
We are saying some things that there are people out there that don't like, but there's a lot of people out there that do like what we're talking about. Now, do you know who Alex Jones is?
Oh, yeah, I know who Alex Jones is.
So you've listened to him before?
Yeah, I have. I followed him, for a while, and then they got after him, and he got in trouble, and I didn't seem to see him that much anymore, but I know who he is.
Okay. And do you know who Charlie Kirk is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, question. Well, let me first interject this. I have been at Mar-a-Lago with Charlie Kirk. I was there, he had a big event, and I was invited by Liz Harris, and I met a bunch of his staff, etc. So I'm on a list somewhere, right? My name is on a list being at Mar-a-Lago. Trump was there as well. It wasn't a meet and greet. It wasn't like everybody go down the line and meet him. Trump came out. It was a big group, and he came out and gave a speech. And it was the speech when he dropped the F-bomb talking about General Milley. There was if you follow Trump every day and everything he says in every speech, he said this made the news for about a week when he dropped the F-bomb referencing. So I was there. I actually have a recording of it. They said don't record, and I recorded the whole thing, and I recorded faces of people that were there, and someday maybe I'll get permission to put it in a show or something. But what do you think about what happened on Monday at Mar-a-Lago?
You mean the raid?
Yeah, the raid. Let's get Mom's take.
Okay. I've got an interesting thing to share.
Always.
I know. Okay, here we go. When that happened on Monday, of course, I was on the internet, breaking news. I went in there. There was the breaking news. When they announced what had happened, I immediately said to myself, in that first moment, I said, this has probably nothing to do with the FBI trying to find some documents. This has to do with the playbook. This event is optics only. They are going in there to plant something and then come out and claim, oh, look what we found. Look at this. Look what we found. So that they can go to the next step in this disaster.
Okay.
Don't interrupt me yet.
Okay.
Then I went to one of the news, like Newsmax or Fox, video that started to come out. I went in, and started to listen to all the comments that were coming. I went in on Monday, and I went into either Newsmax or Fox, one of them, and I wrote a comment. And that is exactly what I said in my comment. This has nothing to do with them finding anything. This is optics to create, a distraction, but they're going in there to plant something. And then I started to follow my comment, later to see if there would be replies to my comment Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday. And people were replying and were agreeing that they felt the same way. Now, this morning, I got up and the headline in dailymail.com, that's the first place I went. They were huge, took up my whole screen. Donald Trump states FBI planted evidence at Mar-a-Lago. Then what I did, I went on YouTube to go back to my notification column to find my comment. You know how you can do that on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
You can go back to notifications. I wanted to check to see if there had been an increase in the number of replies to my original comment.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? I clicked on the notification that had posted my comment. When I clicked on that comment, YouTube conveniently sent me the message. Comments are not available at this time. I have never had that happen before. They took it down. They blocked it. They removed it.
Uh-huh.
Comments, they were not going to allow me to go back. And unfortunately, I tried to find the original Newsmax or Fox video, and of course it's gone. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. I thought, aha, Miracle Mom's on the list.
Well, hopefully you saying that here on this show isn't a problem. Just kidding. I didn't see that Trump had made that claim or that statement.
Well, it's on Daily Mail. You can't miss it.
Okay. Well, so that ties in with something, and so on my Sweet Home Maricopa, I'm doing that again, right? I'm back over there posting videos. Are you watching them?
Yeah, as they come up. Mm-hmm.
I just recorded one. It'll be out sometime today.
Okay.
Pointing out the New York Post, the New York Post, they're the ones that broke the Hunter Biden laptop story and then got banned from Twitter and Facebook and all that.
Yeah.
Right. So they're on top of things. They were at the very end of their article on this raid. There's just this little paragraph. And I even say this in my Sweet Home Maricopa video. I've gone to a college class for news writing, and this guy actually wanted to recruit me for the newspaper because of the assignments I was turning in. He was like, will you be in our newspaper? I'm like, sorry, this is the only class I'm taking at this school. It's a requirement for my other school. Right. So, sorry, I can't join your staff. Here I'm patting myself on the back, but you learn the pyramid, right? You put the most interesting thing at the top, right? And you start with the lead. And then, more details, maybe less interesting, but, if people are really interested, they'll read all the details. And so it was interesting to me that this one thing was at the very end of the article. I don't know. I mean, you could write a whole article speculating on this one thing. The very last paragraph said that the FBI and DOJ, apparently there was just 3 DOJ lawyers accompanying the FBI, but the FBI and the DOJ.
You mean at the raid?
At the raid. requested that the security cameras be turned off, right? So this was stated by the New York Post. I don't know what their source is. They didn't cite necessarily what their source was on this particular piece of information, but why would a law enforcement agency that's just there to collect stuff, why do they want you to turn your security cameras off? Right. Okay. So I hate to, this is how conspiracy theories come together, but this piece of information corroborates that. It fits together. I'm not saying you're not right. I'm saying we have to reserve judgment, right? We have to reserve judgment until the facts come out. But what the thing that I imagine is Trump sitting at his he's in New Jersey right now. He's decamped. That's how they refer to it in the article. Trump decamped from Mar-a-Lago for the summer, went to his New Jersey resort. I can see him by his security desk or whoever runs security at that place going, can you pull up the Mar-a-Lago place? Let me look at what they're doing. Right. Like, can you show me, pull up where they are right now. Right. And if there's footage of FBI agents going up to the cameras and blocking the cameras, I'm like, that is not a good optic. Not a good optic. And so it's like, guarantee you we're going to see at some point all kinds of footage of these guys going in. And as far as planting stuff, if there's cameras rolling, it would have to be really surreptitious. The problem is, here is the problem with the planting something narrative. It doesn't matter what they find. It doesn't matter. The standard is set. Hillary Clinton destroyed documents. She destroyed emails. She had government information on her private server, right? Hammers were taken to cell phones and laptops, right? And she still ran for office, and the feds covered for her. And Jim Comey said, "Oh, it's okay, no big deal. It's she was ignorant, right? She was ignorant. We'll let her go." This, presidents are. It's like what Alex Jones was saying. Let's get back to Alex Jones for a second. I actually have never listened to Alex Jones. That was the first time I think I've ever heard him speak on camera. To be honest, I have never listened to him. I know who he is. I know I've heard of him, but that's probably the first. So, but what he was intimating or hinting at was that this is a procedure that presidents go through when they leave office. They are given stuff. Here's some memorabilia from your time in office. He had personal letters, stuff that's, keepsakes, stuff that would end up in the presidential library, right? President Trump's presidential library. Every president has big boxes of stuff that they get to keep as keepsakes and mementos and personal, it's just standard operating procedure. And if you listen to Steve Turley, or Jonathan Turley, like Steve Turley references Jonathan Turley, who's a legal or a constitutional scholar or something like that. He said the thing that they're citing as their reason for going in, it's not in that code or whatever, that stipulation. There is no enforcement stipulation, right? There is no recourse to go in with guns, right? It's just Trump has been cooperating with them when they've been asking, right? He's been like, oh, what do you need to see? What do you want? We'll turn over whatever, right? He's been cooperating. This, like you said, this is optics. I don't know. Yeah. Planting stuff doesn't even matter. I'm not saying they did or they didn't. It's just like, it doesn't matter. He cannot. They're trying to. It's desperation, right?
Well, I had another thought that keeps running through my mind, and of course, I don't have anything I can point to specifically, but thought ran through my mind, is it possible that a secret indictment has come down against Trump? Has a secret indictment been decided upon, and the only thing left for them to bring this forward is to plant something that would be evidence to lock it up before they, make anything public about it? It's just a thought that runs through my mind. Your mind goes in all kinds of directions around this stuff.
Well,
and
they've already, like, what's the worst thing you can think of a president of the United States doing? Colluding with our greatest enemy, right? What's the worst thing you can come up with?
Right.
Colluding with our greatest enemy. Who's that? China? No, it's not China. It's Russia, right? Russia is our greatest enemy. The greatest.
Exactly.
And
they're trying to pin a felony on him because it's that felony that would disqualify him from running.
Well, here's what I'm saying. The worst conceivable thing a president could do is to sell out America to a foreign power. Right. Russia. They shot their wad 4 years ago, right? They came up with the only thing that would ever stick if they could find it, and it didn't stick, right? There's nothing they can plant that's going to be worse than colluding with Russia. There's nothing they can come up with. I'm a Hollywood screenwriter. I'm pretty creative, and I can't think of anything that they could come up with, right? In fact, they're not creative. That's the thing about leftism. Creativity.
They have to fabricate. That's what they have to do.
Well, they fabricate, but they're really bad at it, right? They're literally, all they can come up with is, let's accuse you of what we're doing, right? They can't come up with something creative. They're like, well, we're in bed with foreign powers, and that's bad. And it would be really bad if it all came out and people knew that we were in bed with foreign powers. So let's blame our enemies for being in bed with foreign powers, right? That's not creative at all. And I'm just saying, it doesn't matter what they do, they're in trouble. This is absolute. This is like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. I was thinking of a boxing analogy of literally a boxer, that's getting pummeled and it's getting backed into a corner. And this looks to me like that boxer pointing at the other boxer's shoe. Your shoe's untied, right? Like that's going to work, and he tries to land a wallop, right? Like some kind of lame distraction. They're pulling out all the stops. They have overstepped. This is a seminal moment in history for a president to be invaded, right? To be raided by the FBI.
I think part of their motive also, what they're hoping is that what they have done here will lead to fomenting an armed insurrection by the violent Trump faction. They want another uprising so that they can pin it on Trump again. Here's some more. Here's some more. Look what he's done. Blah blah blah.
And that's the most.
Insane.
It's the most they can hope for. Which, whenever that happens, it also bodes worse for them. Like the statistics show that when there's violent uprisings, because. But on that note, because Wray, the head of the FBI, and Garland, the Attorney General, have been getting. There's been a spike in death threats. And so let me say to everybody watching, violence is not the answer. Do not resort to violence. Do not fall for that. Okay. And I'm not just saying that as a disclaimer. It's like, no, don't do that. But when you have certain factions in the streets burning down cities, and we'll call them the BLM, right? BLM and Antifa, who, they wreaked havoc and did destruction. Whenever that happens, it's to the benefit of the Republicans, because the Democrats the rational Democrats and independents will be like, what? That's crazy. That's wrong. And they'll go to the other side. They'll go, wait, who's allowing that? Who's not cracking down on that? Oh, those Democrat mayors, Democrat governors not enforcing the law in those cases. Well, why would they want violence to happen? And it always bodes, it always hurts them at the ballot box. And that's the bottom line at the ballot box. Passing this new $1 trillion spending and invading Trump, it seals the deal. Trump will be the nominee, and but what I am saying is, whether or not Trump, like if they want to arrest him or, God forbid, anything worse, it makes him a martyr, and that's what they can't have. right? And it's like the left hand. I think the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing here. I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I think Merrick Garland was caught off guard, maybe. I think there's not that it's totally rogue, but I don't think Merrick Garland is actually calling the shots, right? You think he's supposed to be in charge. He's the attorney general, right? He's supposed to have some sway, and he does. But I think it's clearly there are other actors that are making decisions. I wonder what the heck is going on inside the FBI right now. Whew.
Yeah, hot. It's all hot. Hot. Well, one of the other things, that occurs to me is, now we've got this scenario developing, and what they've decided against Trump, is that going to spill over on you and me? Do you know what I mean? The American citizens, are we going to begin to become targets?
That is the fear, right? And I mean, that is what we need to realize, that this is not.
They targeted me this morning.
Well, okay, you said you have never seen that before. Comments are not available.
Never happened.
I do YouTube, right? This is YouTube, and and so I have seen that before. It might be such a massive response that they can't handle it, right? Sometimes that happens, right? And so it may not be something nefarious, but it might be, and it might be an algorithm. So sometimes it'll happen if there is a lot of traffic, it gets bogged down, or they just shut off comments. So
I'm just looking at the timing of these things, and was that a coincidence of some kind, or was that intentional? I've never had that happen to me. I comment all the time.
What I'm saying
on these news videos, that has never happened.
Well, what I'm saying is, if I'm, again, giving the benefit of the doubt, right? We need to default to a rational or the most reasonable explanation. I'm not saying that wasn't, somebody didn't actually flip a switch. What I'm saying is, it wouldn't be coincidental. It would be actually what you would expect if you hit on a hot button issue and it blew up. It could overload the system. It wouldn't be, and that's not something nefarious if that were the case. And it's like when a video goes viral, if you say you didn't have YouTube that could handle it all, right? If say you were on a small server of your own and you released a video on that server and all kinds of traffic came to it, but you hadn't paid your supplier for the proper bandwidth, right? You have to pay for, how much memory are you going to use on your thing? If you have some viral video on your own server and all kinds of traffic comes to it, it's going to bog down. It's going to shut down. It's just the system couldn't handle it. It's like a bottleneck. All of a sudden, this fire hose is trying to get through this tiny little hole. So that's a possibility. Yeah. But I wanted to get back to what you were saying about, is this us, right? Are they going to start targeting us, the average? Well, but here's the thing. They don't have the resources. They don't have the resources. There's 70 plus million people who identified with Trump by putting a mark next to his name on the ballot, right? By doing that, if they're trying to demonize Trump, they're trying to demonize every 70 plus million voting age people who did that, not counting all the non-voting age people who would align with Trump, right? So 100 million, let's say there's 100 million people in this country that identify, that have, if the records are there, the voting records are there, 100 million people have associated overtly with Trump. And then how about all of those who've changed their minds, or all of those that didn't go to the ballot box because they didn't think they need to? There's at least half the country. They don't have the resources to target the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of outspoken people. They just don't.
Mike, the thing that made me say that was because of Biden's announcement this week that he has authorized the IRS to hire 87,000 new IRS agents, or whatever you call them. That to me right away that looks like, how would they come at us?
Right.
Well, here we go.
Well,
Who pays taxes? Americans pay taxes.
I have a thought about that.
87,000 new IRS agents. Where are you going to get them, first of all?
Currently,
that's what I'm talking about.
Right. No, and I agree. And I get that. And now, like, the IRS is now the largest government agency, like larger than all of the others combined or something. Larger than, I don't know about all the others combined, but it's the single largest. Now, again, in my thought process, trying to think, they're going to have some kind of rational explanation, and I haven't looked into it. But here's what I'm thinking about what the rational explanation for that may be. With the lockdowns, right? When you lock down, and I would say illegally lock down the country, you have a bunch of people that couldn't pay their bills, right? A bunch of people that had to shut down their businesses or needed to be evicted because they couldn't pay their rent, or landlords that were evicting against the government, prohibitions of eviction. Like, there's all kinds of new problems caused by these lockdowns that the IRS, the IRS is in shambles right now. They are so, I wouldn't say they're understaffed. I would say they're a bunch of incompetent government people, sucking off the teat, of the government, with jobs that they can't be fired from, right? A bunch of IRS people out there just sitting in offices doing as little as possible. But maybe, I shouldn't say, there's good people that work for the IRS. There's got to be Christians and patriots that work for the IRS. But there's this huge problem. The IRS is not able to process everything because of some of the things that the government did by shutting down and locking down. That's part of it. But absolutely, the IRS has been weaponized in the past. We've seen it. It's pretty much out in the open. It's been weaponized, and that is probably the best way to get at people. So dot your I's and cross your T's, and the IRS can't bother you. There you go. If you've paid your taxes, they can't bother you. So nothing to worry about. But I'm curious about why the IRS has been the number one purchaser of ammunition over the past year. The IRS is.
What's the IRS going to do with bullets?
All those new agents need to be packing, I guess. Make sure they're armed. Taxman, come to my house. Get away. Oh, anyway.
Oh, we need more than 30 minutes here.
Yeah. Well, so I went to Mar-a-Lago and Charlie Kirk. I'm glad that the producers picked that clip. I didn't see the very beginning, but I feel like it's an honor. I'm closely associated with some of the people at the top, like my friend Liz Harris. She met President Trump. She won in an election where Carrie Lake also won. In Arizona, Carrie Lake has won the primary, and it looks like everybody should win. I don't know if you follow Arizona politics, only through me, I guess. But
not as closely as you do, but I'm up to date on what's going on there.
Well, I think I said this last time. Thank you for living in Arizona when you were pregnant with me.
Yeah, who would have known?
It's all you. You have created Sweet Home Maricopa, Maricopa Michael. You're responsible for this, for even this existing, this show, the chat session. It's all sprung out of Sweet Home Maricopa, which sprung out of your womb.
When do I get my Emmy?
All right. Well, stay alive, Mom. You're 78. You've made it. Stay alive. It's coming.
Keep praying. Keep praying.
If I have anything to do about it, it's coming. If I have any say. All right. We got to wrap it up here. Just want to say thank you, everybody in the comments. I have been glancing over at the comments, and I love it when people comment in the comment section. Go to thiswaynetwork.com, sign up for our newsletter, but also I have Bible every morning. I think most of people watching this know that I do Bible every morning, but also make sure you go to Sweet Home Maricopa and share, because that algorithm over there gets us paid. We're actually making money. We're actually starting to cover some of our bills because we're getting views at Sweet Home Maricopa. Go there and share. Obviously,
Awesome.
obviously subscribe and like and all that and comment. Love you guys. Love you, Mom. Talk to you next week.